Howdy, my name is Callum, also known as Northern Dice, and today I am going to be unboxing my Kickstarter delivery massive big boy edition of Marvel United X-Men. Now it's not the biggest version I've got, but let's just have a quick run through what we've got to unbox before we get into a better camera angle, because we've got the core game, we have the additional blue team, we have got a singular storm with a mohawk, an important element of that. We've got the XForce. We have got the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and just to finish it off with a little one, we have also got the actual Kickstarter extras, which is a massive box. So let's get into these bad boys right away and let's see what's inside and what it's like. Because we've got a lot of content to get through, I am just going to try and focus heavily more on the mechanics of the core game to start off with, which has been at retail for a while, and then we'll have a look at all the added extras. Just so you are aware, the Kickstarter stuff, no doubt, as all Kickstarter stuff always ends up being, is going to be incredibly hard to get hold of after the campaign, because everyone will receive the extras if they're backed at that level, but the paid for extras are going to be even more hard to get a hold of. So if this does give you the lust for that sort of stuff, be warned, it may be more expensive. It could be worth waiting for a second printing through Kickstarter. So let's kick off with the core game. So you have got characters across the back. Blue ones are your heroes, red ones are your villains, purple ones can be played as either and come with components for both moods. Let's see if I can actually get the plastic off for a change. It is the X-Men version. There was a Marvel United original, which was massive on Kickstarter. I've seen some people, when they have got it on their Kallax, have said it takes up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cubes worth of stuff. Some people have even gone as far as to paint it, but I imagine painting it would be a hobby in itself because of how many miniatures you get. Free CMO and content, there's your QR code. I don't know if I've never used one of these. I've never used one of those. And then we have the rulebook, which is a very light game for the amount of stuff you get. So the idea is that you are heroes defending an area. You have one villain to many heroes. And I know the Marvel films give you the impression that heroes can no doubt, one hero can take out one bloke, so you can have 6 heroes taken out one, be easy peasy. It's not as simple as that, because they're moving, they're attacking, you've got to contend with things, and you need to do certain things before you can actually do damage to them. So your layout is 6 random locations, the villain board in the centre, 3 objectives. You need to complete the objectives before you're able to do damage, and as you do the goals on the different cards, you're able to do stuff. But the main mechanic is the cards that you play, you get the effect of the previous player's cards. So in example here, Wolverine gets those 2 symbols from Storm's card. It is relatively easy, but I think it's quite appealing to a younger audience and Marvel fans like myself, but also the actual component quality that CMON always produces is always high. I'm not saying that's a no-brainer in itself, but it was a major selling point for me. More rules, more rules. I know that there are challenge modes, there's additional rules, there's also the super villain mode where you can have someone playing as the villain. And the Xavier solo mode, I've heard mixed things about this. I think I'd rather just do a solo two-handed personally, but I'm not entirely sure on all the details. So we have a plethora, a multitude, a stack of tokens, which is always expected. Then we have quite a pretty insert actually. Ooh, is that a metal component? It is a plastic component that is painted silver. Oh well, but that goes in there for some reason. I have no idea why. No plastic coverings on anything, it's all card covered, which is very nice. Good for the environment as well. And these are all thick card components. Always a bit funny about pointed corners. I always like them when they're curved off. I can always just get a clipper. But the art on it is very cute, very sweet. It's actually not too bad actually. Maybe I'm being a bit cynical. And then you've got the X-Men set on the back, because this can be mixed with the core game as well. We've then got the villain cards and the villain board on the back, sorry. Which again, all just very thick card. Not massive cardboard. There's your 4 villains. Of course, Magneto and Mystique can be played as heroes as well. And there's the villain dashboard. You'd have your 3 objectives there and what happens to the villain as it goes on. And I think the idea is if you complete this objective first, everything slides across, so it's this that's activated. It's not a pick and choose. I'm ignoring the minis for a second because they're going to be the obvious big thing in a moment. Let's have a quick look at the cards, which are plastic covered. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just cost effectiveness. Plastic cover one, paper cover the other. I don't know. I know that some companies are moving, particularly like Ravensburger, are moving heavily towards zero plastic components. They're using stickers to seal games, which I get. This is halfway between. So, these are really nice, good quality, thick cards. I'd heard quite a lot of mixed messages about this. I heard that I know I'm going on over people's thoughts here, but I couldn't help myself looking at other people's unboxings. The cards were quite flimsy. I think they're very nice. They've got a nice little plastic feel to them. So there are your different things for your enemies. The cards for the enemies because they get played as well. Sorry if this isn't good in view. The camera's pretty far away from me. I know that some heroes have starting hands as well. You have specific things for different enemies. Scarlet Witch. Magneto. Oh, it's like a minion of theirs. People that they're able to recruit. So in this it's the Scarlet Witch version that is evil, of course. Blob. And all the cards there. Awesome. Extra slots in there. I've just noticed that this is absolutely wrecked on the inside. So this insert's not going to last very long. So let's pop that there. How weird. The box isn't damaged at all. That's a bit strange. Anyway, these are your hero cards. And these are, again, specific to heroes. So Beast will all have Beast cards. I am noticing that there is a little tiny bit of variation across the cards, but not a grand amount. So Cyclops doing the same thing. It's the exact same card, to be fair, so I can give a bit of warrant there. The art style is really consistent, really nice across as well. It's all very... I remember in the 90s when I used to watch X-Men as a cartoon, it was all very gritty. It was quite gritty and hard. It was nice as a cartoon, but it was a little bit more adult. This has a very, very almost Japanese chibi, gentle, happy feel. Magneto as a hero, Mystique as a hero, Professor X, and Storm. I like how they've all got little emblems in the corner. Very nice. So now let's have a look at some of these miniatures. I'm going to go straight from Magneto because look at that. Steel beams coming out of the ground. You can see the anger on his face. Shouting, Charles! All the nuts and bolts attached to his back. If I was a painter, I'd be painting these, and these are absolutely gorgeous. And they just fit very nicely. It's not a snug fit, it's just they pop in. They feel very robust. Here we have Jean Grey, looking very angry. I know that in one of the other boxes there is a Phoenix and Dark Phoenix. The colours are very nice as well across, like you can see that the blue and the red are very distinct. I love that cape, look at that. What does it say on the bottom? It says Marvel, SML, made in wherever, etc. Very, very nice. But the purple looks like the mix between, so I think it's a very nice balance of. I am a little bit in the head of, well, if you're using a purple character as a hero, can you also use a purple character as a villain? And I'd imagine the answer is yes. Because you know who's who. You know the villain is Mystique, so you're playing as Magneto. There's Sabretooth. Looking ferocious. And I know that the enemies also have a unique mechanic to them as well. So let's have a quick look. They have got some unique setups. So Juggernaut and Sabretooth. If you overflow, which means that if you run out of certain things, then if they can't be added to another location, deal a damage to the hunted hero. So being hunted is a mechanic for Sabretooth, where he's looking for the main player at all times. And special rules for Juggernaut. When a hero is KO'd, Juggernaut doesn't activate his BAM, draw another master plan card and add it face down to the storyline. So they work differently as well, so it's not like you're just playing for the models, you are actually playing for the different elements for each hero and villain as well, which is quite nice because it means that there is that variation and purpose behind it. You're not just playing Mystique and Wolverine against Magneto because you think it'd be fun. There's a reason to play Mystique and Wolverine because they might have better advantage against whomever. think this needs to go on top. I have heard as well that this set down and setup for this game is very, very quick as well. A lot of people have said solo is the way to go. I'm not so sure personally. I think this is one that I would really enjoy playing with other Marvel fans because you can almost narrate what is happening in the exciting moments. Right, that's the core game done. Let's very quickly, I'm just going to chuck all this rubbish on the floor and deal with it in a minute, have a look at some of the other stuff. So we've got the Horsemen of the Apocalypse here, which is just purely villains and Apocalypse who can be played as either. So all these fellas are on horses as well. So welcome to the Apocalypse. A single 2 spread, prelude to the Apocalypse mode, so you have a setup specific for this if you're using these fellas. And you can actually have, oh, you actually have all 4. So it's a scenario within itself. Ooh! Special rules on a separate card. And everything is free and flowing everywhere. So only Apocalypse as a villain. That's the only way you can have these guys there then, is it? 2 more locations. 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse Master Plan cards. 2 villain dashboards. So it is just Apocalypse as the villain. Interesting. Another cube. This time the cube is red. I've got no idea what the cube is for. I haven't actually seen. But let's have a look at these. I don't want to go too much into the cards. But look. Oh. She's on an horse with a beak. The actual quality behind these is stunning. Wow. The only thing I know about this is that Angel became deaf and there he is with his wings. That is just absolutely fantastic in every single capacity. And they don't feel like you've got to be gentle with them. They do feel like if you were a bit more stringent for space or really running, you could just put them all in a box and run them that way. I may not do that simply because of how pernickety I am about how I put games together, but I know that some folk would really benefit from that saving of space. I'm saying this and then immediately thinking that I do need more space. But yeah, look at these. Wow. They just look brilliant. And then let's have a look at Apocalypse. He's standing on an X. He just looks mad and angry. It's absolutely superb. Really impressed. So it's a scenario. I mean, you can still play Apocalypse as a hero since he's come in a purple, well, colouring, but which way did you go? There you go. Maybe it is just a case of that's how you'd work it. So then I've got 2 stacks. Is that for your hero and your villain, so you can separate them? Not sure. Like I said, I want to get through these quick. Now here's one I picked specifically to purchase because I was very excited by it. I remember watching the cartoon growing up and just thinking Gambit was the coolest dude. He was just so slick. He spoke French randomly in conversation. I thought that he was the edgiest guy in the world and the guy that everyone aspired to be. Now I know that, thinking back historically, he was just a bit, he's a bit of a jerk. But even so, the reason I want for this one is because you've got Jubilee, you've got Rogue, Gambit, Psylocke, all those fantastic characters that were in that cartoon series, and they weren't in the core game. Like, oh, come on, Wolverine's been used to death across media. What I wanted was some old classic, some heroes that I could relate to because I'd grown up watching them fighting Magneto and Mystique doing naughty stuff. So this is the blue team. There was a red team as well, no idea who were in those. But welcome to the team. Team versus team modes. This introduces 2 against 2 possibly. You have hero turn, winning and losing. The team wins if the villain is defeated and they have dealt more damage to the villain than the other team. So it's like a race. Oh my days, poor Mr. Sinister. He is going to get absolutely annihilated. An accelerated villain challenge. And then of course some villains require special rules when using the team versus team mode, so they've thought about everything, which is very nice. Some villains are not compatible with the team versus team. Apocalypse and the Horsemen, Dark Phoenix, Dormammu, Hela, Lady Deathstrike, so that's when it starts flowing into the other one as well. We have then got some extra components, easy to punch. We have got some more cards, this time in a paper bind. Now some more locations, Excalibur Lighthouse, the Mojoverse, Savage Land, and then you have Mr. Sinister as your villain, and your team versus team track for who's dealt the most damage. Blue team versus gold team. Maybe it was gold team, not blue. Mr. Sinister, special setup, dish out some DNA, and there he is. Oh, you even get little standees so you can identify who's who. Oh, wicked. So you can have up to 3 on your team. Oh man, they have thought about everything. I've never been so happy to see little plastic circles. But even then, I am a board gamer, so it should be quite a frequent thing. Let's pop those in there. Pop those in there. So I guess you could have any three heroes of the multitudes that we've got. So if we have a look here, we have got, it's Banshee. Looking incredible. I will stop looking so intently at all these in a second because I'm just going to go through this one and then we'll start skimming and scanning. Gambit, and look, he's actually got the cards being thrown. Oh my days, it's just a painter's dream. And he's even just stood on like a hydrant. Oh. Oh my days, the art, the style and the design of this is just mad. Let's just have a quick look at Jubilee as well. I'm not as interested in Mr. Sinister. Sorry, Blaine. I can never remember anything about it other than that she could shoot fireworks out for hands, and I thought that was just the coolest stuff ever. Amazing. Can we turn around? Will she fit in? I think that's where she goes. And then, of course, we have got the cards again, which has got the accelerated villain challenge cards inside of that as well. And I think that space underneath is space for tokens, so it should all fit together quite nicely. This is already 3 boxes, and I'm already thinking I've got tons of content to get through. And here's another box. Am I fighting a losing battle with this? Probably. But this is the XForce, which were the chaps who were quite good friends with Deadpool in the most recent film. But he wasn't actually necessarily the biggest contender within that, because in the actual comics I believe it was created by Cable and not Deadpool. But hey, money. So this has got Domino, Cannonball, Shatterstar and Cable and your enemy of Strife. Let's just get into this. We're just going to have a quick butchers this time. So welcome to the Strike Force. Like every single one starts with welcome to. There's no consistency across this. This one's actually inside. What are they doing? And this one's just a sheet because I imagine it's just, oh, hazardous locations as an addition. Like, were the people putting these boxes together just not communicating? Yeah, hazardous locations. Strife is your villain. Special rules, he's got overflow, he's the same as everyone else, and I forgot to mention, that is how many cards they have, I believe. And I think that links to their health as well. So let's have a look at Cable, the man with all the guns who can time travel. He's got a sword, he is jacked with just every single piece of accessory you could get. He has fallen into his mother's wardrobe and come out dressed to the tees, ready for a night out in about 17 different belts. What a pretty guy. And Cannonball, who doesn't have legs and just has a tornado behind him, but then it's the effect you've got. Does it stand? It does, it does. It is weight balanced, so it can stand. Very nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay. Speeding through now because this is the next box, which is the biggest. Lots and lots and lots of components inside. I have no idea what to expect in terms of how much stuff's in there. Right. Onto the absolute unit. That is this. Let's just crack this. I have no idea where she's going to get stored. Or even if I'm interested in keeping this one. And that's not because it's not in a pretty box, but I think it is partly because it's not in a pretty box. And I also can't get into it. Oh my days. There we go. So if I crack this, and we have a butcher's inside, we've got a set of cards and a mohawked storm with lightning bolts and physical lightning around her. It's definitely more of a thematic piece because it's not as part of a full set. I have no idea what the camera just didn't choose to focus there. Then we've got her specific cards as well, which have got their own unique style to them. I'll pop her back, and then we've just got the final box, which is the actual big boy. That is where all the weight is, and I have no clue how we're actually going to get through all this. This is where all the stretch goals came in. There were a lot. The thing about stretch goals is they always appeal to a mass market, but for people who want to paint, or collectors, or people who've just got a specific favourite element of, I'm not going to show you the back because that'll give all the spoilers away for me as well. If you've got specific favourites and you want to see them specifically out, then this is where you're going to get them all, because oh my days. Whew. We then get a box. Come on. Are you actually kidding? Okay. That makes sense. So they've got all of the hero stuff, components, cards, chock full, top to bottom, in the bottom. All of your special enemies, like, I mean, who can forget Arcade and Mojo and Lady Deathstrike? So people who actually matter now. But this is just the enemies, and that is a full wedge. Toad, Blob and Pyro all together. Spiral, Silver Samurai, Onslaught, Namor even, Mastermind, Marrow, Legion, Lady Deathstrike, Emma Frost, Deathbird, Dark Phoenix, Callisto, Avalanche, Brood Queen. So we've got more than enough to play with, even just in this. But that isn't even coming into the actual big card box. I'm always in two minds about this. My Bloodborne, everyone's Bloodborne, came with a card box with all the plastic components in, and I've still got my plastic box, cardboard box, and I have no idea why. Oh Lord, look at those! Straight away. She's got the Phoenix behind her, which is a different plastic. So effective. And the fact you've got such height and size differences across these as well. Like if we compare this beauty to Pyro with a little bit of fire coming out, there is a sense of scale to this. It's not a massive sense of scale, don't get me wrong. They've not revolutionised sizing. And I've completely forgotten how that one went in. Stay there. But there is a lot. And of course, some of them as well have got their hero cards on top. So even then when you've got heroes who could duplicate themselves, I'm useless with names at this point. It's all gone out the window, but we've got Legion, who was another psychic. It's a lot of content. This is a lot of content. I'd never want to say there's too much content, but look, there's a little dragon. I have no idea why there's a small dragon, but there's a dragon. Is this one of those examples where Kickstarters go too far? And you just get overwhelmed by trying to get them stuck back in and you can't. But look, I've got two spaces here. What are those two spaces for? I am genuinely not only lost, but so impressed by the quality. But the amount of content here, there is almost no reason for me to have got those extras. I'm glad I did, because I like having, as we all do. I've got a Lady Deadpool. I didn't expect to get a Deadpool. There was a full set for Deadpool. What on earth? There's a lot here, and a lot to get through, and I don't think I will ever, in all honesty, I don't think I will ever manage to get through all of this. I don't think anybody will. Of course, if you do, credit to you, you know, no fault to you. You've done well. Now throw in the dragon. I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to leave that unboxing there. That was a heck of a lot of content. Ne'er on too much. However, I am so overwhelmed by the quality, the actual beauty of it. Painter's dream, as I keep saying. But there's so much that you'd need to deal with if you were trying to get through everything. I guess selection is the big thing here, and you cannot physically have two games the same, particularly if you then combine it in with Marvel United, the original, and all those extras as well. My thoughts and prayers are with anybody who bought the full whack, because my goodness are they now having to invest in new expansions to their house. But anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Thank you ever so much for sticking around for this massive unboxing. I'll catch you next time.